I'm live on Periscope and D Live and Facebook. YouTube should be connecting shortly. Yes. What's up, everybody? Twitch should be connecting soon, too. I am James Hake. It is 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Standard Time, no longer daylight time. Isn't that great? I think so. And it is Monday, November 2nd, 2020. I'm going to be talking about voter suppression versus voter fraud. And of course, I told you guys last week about that Asian dude who said this is a no N-word zone. For some reason, I pictured a young guy saying it. But no, it was a Mr. Miyagi-looking guy, an old dude. Mr. Miyagi is dead, so I know it's not him. It wasn't him. Paul, not a bad person. Didn't seem like a bad person. Didn't seem like he actually did anything disorderly, but he was arrested and he fired and all kinds of mess. Ridiculous. An attack on non-blacks. And hate speech I want to talk about, just the hypocrisy and the evil, the fake idea that hate speech is. And, the lynch mob going after decent people. Former Vice President Joe Biden is a sleazy person. And did he actually say super predators? Or did he not? President Trump says his sources tell him that Joe Biden frequently used that term. Super predators. No conscience, no empathy. As Hillary Clinton famously said. I really don't mind the term. And I'll touch on maybe a little bit of Sean Connery. He died. I didn't know that he was the first James Bond ever. I thought that he was just like the most famous one. But he was the first, according to what they say. And, I have an old clip that I want to get to this week. Probably not today, but of President Trump, then back when he was 34 years old. Trump. Being a man. Very cool. But I don't know. I may not be able to get to that one today. Anyway, guys, let's get on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, isn't it so backwards how they just accuse us of doing the dishonest things that they do? For example, right now there's this big scaremongering amongst the liberals in the FBI, and yes, the FBI, it is becoming more and more obvious to more and more people that the FBI are a bunch of dumb liberals. Think about James Comey, the tall, lanky rhino. I guess he used to be supposedly a Republican, a kiss-up, whose wife and daughters, that's right, daughters, went to the Women's March and wanted Hillary Clinton to win. Just awful people. And James Comey grandstands. He was the leader of the FBI, and he's this pathetic, dishonest coward of a person who grandstands and acts all holy and high and mighty, acting like he is a higher calling, and like he's the dignified one, and like Trump is the dishonest person. It's the other way around, buddy. And also you're weak. Referring to James Comey, who was the FBI director. And now they have this Christopher Wray guy who I think Trump should fire. Is he still there? I think he is. I haven't heard anything good about the FBI lately. And that would be one good thing if Christopher Wray were to leave the FBI, because he's a fearmonger against whites. The FBI that's investigating the Trump caravan of a bunch of these trucks over in Texas somewhere on a highway. I have a clip of that. I mentioned it in Hake News today. It happened last week, Friday, the end of the week. All this caravan of trucks surrounded this Joe Biden van. And no, not a van, a bus, a Joe Biden bus. And they're just surrounded it. And because Joe Biden is showing his dirty, disgusting name that he himself smeared by supporting everything evil and attacking whites and attacking America and attacking the Second Amendment. He promised just on Sunday to get rid of the Second Amendment by attacking gun rights, banning so-called assault weapons and so-called high-capacity magazines and universal background check, meaning Big Brother stuff. Big Brother is, I think it's a reference to that 1984 book, something like that, where I guess the federal government or some powerful entity is basically surveillance state, surveilling you, what you're doing, and saying, Big Brother doesn't approve of what you're doing right now. You're thinking too much for yourself. You've had too much to think. It's a meme, a reference. And that's Joe Biden. He wants universal background check. Just to have a record on everybody. It's kind of like what these dumb California liberals want to do with the young people. The babies, our babies, the children. They want to have a documented medical history of the children to make sure that they've been so-called vaccinated, universal vaccination, and have a database of all the little children and what they've been through. And meanwhile, and this is Obamacare type stuff, socialized medicine, where they have a record of everybody and they know all of your personal business and they can overrule your doctor. If your doctor says you don't need a vaccination, the health official, unelected bureaucrats appointed by scum of the earth, Democrats who are enemies of America, who enemies of America within America are voting in, meaning like dumb Democrat voters. And you have no recourse. You have to let your child get vaccinated if you want them to go to school. And they're going to clamp down worse and worse and worse. They're doing it up to private schools and everything. I bet you they would try to clamp down on so-called homeschools. Because there are homeschools that don't just teach their own, the parents, it's not just the parents teaching their own children. One parent may be a talented teacher and may teach other people in the private sector. That's how we used to do it, by the way, in America. These men were not dumb. They were quite apt who founded the country. And they didn't necessarily all go to these public institutions. And many of these so-called respected universities started out as Christian. And they were private. They weren't publicly funded and all that stuff. But there is this fear-mongering right now. I read this ridiculous article about voter suppression. And it was so bad, I had to write the writer an email. I read it on Saturday, right? About possible voter suppression. The mainstream media, the Democrats, the sleazy FBI will cry voter suppression. And you may have heard, it was reported on Fox News, this black guy, Clyburn or something like that. One of those weird old black Democrats who's been in office forever, just a dinosaur and a liar, a leech, a termite within the government who's been elected, yes, says if Donald Trump wins, it's only because of voter suppression. This guy said that. This black Democrat politician said that. There's this ridiculous CNN article that came out this week or late last week from this black guy with gray hair named John Blake. CNN, scum of the earth, the Communist News Network, Clinton News Network, talking about Jim Crow 2.0, talking about the push for, voter integrity. In their minds, is voter suppression. Of course, it's voter suppression if you're an illegal voter, or if you are not a dedicated American. They talk about, it's ridiculous. This other article that I read, not the CNN one, talked about burned ballot boxes. Who are the ones who've been burning ballot boxes? I saw one that was caught on camera, I think in Boston or somewhere. I forget where it was. But it was a black dude. It was not a Trump supporter looking black dude either. It was a black dude. And we've seen the signs. I told you guys in the Jesse Lee Peterson show about these signs that I see taped to the fencing of a bridge, like a freeway overpass over the Interstate 10 freeway, that says, "We don't need an election, we need a revolution. Wake the F up." You know that's female. You know that's female Antifa, Black Lives Matter nonsense. Democrat communist people. Because they want to get rid of America. They want to get rid of the white people. They want to get rid of real justice. They want to get rid of innocent unless proven guilty for whites, which they've already been wearing away at that. They want to get rid of any restrictions on abortion. They're just disgusting people. And they want to get rid of rule of law. They've been wearing away at that too. That's why there's so many illegals here to this day. But who's burning the ballot boxes? It's liberals. To this day, they're doing that.
You know we've been fighting 400 and still fighting to this day.
Deontay Wilder. You can tell they're liberal, unclassy people, by the way. And yeah, we see some conservatives starting to do this too with the F word. But using that vulgar F word over a freeway overpass on a sign that everybody can see, including children, just completely unclassy. You really want to go along with those people? Dumb Democrats? Any Democrats who may be listening? That's the nasty female BLM type vulgarness. Isn't that something called public indecency? That's indecent. That's crazy. And the New York Slimes, New York Times, according to Drudge headlines, something along the lines of, why are Republicans so afraid of voters? Because a whole lot of so-called voters are anchor babies, anchor grandbabies, and socialist-minded people, Antifa supporters, BLM supporters. In short, enemies of America. Democrats are enemies of America. They don't support the First Amendment. They believe in hate speech. They don't support the Second Amendment. They believe in gun control. Yeah, Ghost Murdoch says, calling them dumb is being nice. Yeah. F word is in free government stuff. It says based America first. Yeah. New York, the LA Slimes put out anti-Prop 22 propaganda. So those are the anarchists, the anarchist communists are the ones who are burning the ballot boxes, not Trump supporters. I bet you that not one Trump supporter has burned a ballot box or tried to engage in, and the voter fraud is coming from the liberals too. They don't mind breaking the law. That's why they support illegals coming into the country. And the rhinos don't mind that either. The rhinos who don't mind the illegal immigration situation. I read to you guys in Hake News at the end of the first hour of the Jesse Lee Peterson show, this laundry list, 25 items or 24 items, whatever, that Miles Taylor, he's born in 1987. He's like a young male, 30, maybe 33 years old, self-important liberal, fake Republican, a rhino, Republican in name only, he donated to the Obama campaign in 2008, but he claims that he was all in for John McCain, who is another rhino. I voted for John McCain. I wasn't all in for him. I voted for John McCain because I didn't want Obama, right? I didn't really know what was going on back then. I didn't know that John McCain was as evil of a person as he was. But it's ridiculous. This guy, he talked about Trump wanted to put a moat on the other side of the wall. Isn't that a nice idea? He wanted to put alligators and snakes in the moat around the border, outside of the border wall, and electrify the fence in case they touch it, the wall. because you saw these people trying to climb the wall, break the wall, climb under the wall, go over it, breach the situation. Look at this guy. What a snake. Look at him. We're showing a picture. These guys have a picture of this Miles Taylor guy with his thumbs up, standing, stooping at the Oval Office desk, presumably. Next to President Trump. Trump has his thumbs up, smiling. And this Miles Taylor sleazy person, thumbs up, 30-something years old, looks like a young man. Almost looks like a man. Smiling faces tell lies, as the black song goes. And thumbs up, too. He's thumbs up and next to President Trump. And then he backstabs him. The backstabbers. This guy, he listed off a whole bunch of things that President Trump supposedly said and wanted done. And I love these things. I listed off a bunch of them. I have the 5x5 tweets if you want to show them. Just very quickly run through them. Bust thousands of illegals, especially those with criminal records, to Democrat sanctuary cities to create instability and strife. That would be fine. Cut off disaster aids to Democrat states and territories, especially California, Puerto Rico. Their people and their elected leaders don't support them, Jesse. I mean, don't support Trump. Consider trading those poor Puerto Ricans and their broken island for Greenland. Don't worry about Congress and wiretap laws. Just break the law and do what you need to over at Homeland Security. Cut the number of refugees we let in the United States down to 0. They don't add anything to the country and drain the welfare system. And the welfare system is highly expensive. That's like, what? Jay from San Diego sent me something years ago showing our expenditures of the federal government, and it is mostly social spending. It is not the defense. They pretend that the defense spending is out of control. No, it's social spending that's out of control. And getting worse. To this day, too, by the way.
To this day.
Cut the refugees that we let into the United States to 0. You've heard about the Ann Corcoran from Refugee Resettlement Watch. She's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show a couple of times, talking about the corrupt ways that they let all these refugees in. You know who was a refugee who got in? Ilhan Omar. Disgusting person. They don't add anything to their country. Oh, yeah, I mentioned that already. Cut off foreign aid to Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, and even the law enforcement cooperation. Oh, no, but it helps thwart human smuggling, drug cartels, and sex trafficking. Well, if we close our borders, we don't have that problem. And if we crack down on the illegal immigration. Find a way to spy on the personal phones of the White House staff to catch the leakers. They should have done that with this guy. Because he was I don't know if he was a leaker, but he was a traitor. A traitor to America, honestly. We need to bring in more immigrants from Europe, fewer from Somalia, Haiti, Ethiopia, and those type places. We're letting too many poor people in. Get the H out of Afghanistan and Syria. Very nice. Punish the Mexicans. Ditch those NATO countries. And this Miles Taylor, the rhino guy, he's from, he wrote this article under the name Anonymous for the failing New York Slimes back in 2018, this Miles Taylor guy, in case you're not already aware. I am part of the resistance inside the Trump administration. Ridiculous. What an enemy, huh? And he also wrote an anonymous 2019 book, A Warning. And then he came out last Wednesday as the anonymous person, a rhino, donated to Obama so that he could tell his kids, I supported the first black president. What a sucker. Complete rhino. You can tell he's DC type of establishment person. He was a Google employee more recently after he'd left the Trump administration. And he's a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, which some of you know more about that than I do. But the Council on Foreign Relations has produced all kinds of heads of CIA and probably presidents and Cruz's wife work for them. Ted Cruz's wife works for them. Just a globalist, socialist, enemy of America organization. Very powerful. Now, well, in a worldly way, powerful. Now this guy is a Biden supporter. Lifelong Republican, now he's a Biden supporter, and Biden is like the worst of the worst. He's a sleazy person. He celebrates the end of whites in America. He celebrates the end of the Second Amendment in America. And then he pretends, oh, you still have your shotguns. Just shoot a shotgun in the air when somebody tries to invade your home. He says that Trump said to stop talking about election interference. I'm going to fire the people that continue to talk about it. Putin is our friend. Write and send a bill to Congress to reduce the number of federal judges. Wouldn't that be great? How long have we all been complaining about activist judges who overrule Trump on his rightful things that he tries to do in his rightful power as the chief executive of the United States? He cannot even execute things because fake federal judges, liberals, undermine him. Well, they're not the only ones, but they are doing that. And they've been doing it not just to President Trump. They've been doing it ever since I became aware of politics. We've heard of liberal activist judges. And then, these sleazy people are saying, Trump is packing the courts with unqualified judges. It's ridiculous. They're the ones who are supporting, that's how we got abortion out of control, including from Republican judges, by the way. They're sleazy people just like this so-called Republican Miles Taylor. And Trump supposedly said, why don't we award this massive border wall contract to some contractor that he favored? They say they can do it so cheap. And Trump looks out for America, and he looks out for our spending because he does the same thing for his own stuff. He's notoriously, or famously, I say, notoriously is the word that New York Times, I think, uses, cheap, tight-fisted, and I like that with regard to our needless spending, right? You know how he moved the embassy from, I don't know if it was the embassy, but whatever, for Israel to the new capital, Jerusalem? It was something that a whole bunch of presidents pretended that they love Israel, and they said, oh, we're going to move the embassy to Jerusalem from Tel Aviv or whatever. Isn't Tel Aviv like one of the gay capitals of the world, like Atlanta and San Francisco and Tel Aviv? Gross, huh? Or am I mixing up cities? I don't know. But it's pretty degenerate. And so he moved it to Jerusalem. And I think that he saved major money on that because it was supposed to be such and such billions of dollars, maybe even tens of billions of dollars. And he did it for like $2 billion or something, which is a lot. But he did it for cheaper. And at least according to him, like he brags about that on his Trump rallies, which I trust him to tell the truth generally. Shoot migrants in the legs at the border to slow them down. These people are causing problems. Only let the good asylum seekers in, not the ones missing toes or with funny foreheads. I don't know what that's a reference to. Make spikes on top of the wall so sharp that they pierce human flesh in the most gruesome way to scare away other migrants. Make sure there are pictures of it. He's thinking like a man. Send illegals to Guantanamo Bay. Build a castle-like moat. I'd mentioned about that, and alligators and snakes. How much would it cost to maintain that? Deliberately rip the children and parents apart at the border to keep them from coming back. You can't make it comfortable for these people. But Ted Cruz, who I call a rhino now, I used to like him. He's sort of conservative, right? I still like him, but I see through him now. Like, I see that he's plainly a fake politician in his personality. He's not himself. He's not genuine. He's a kiss up to his wife and to women and females. And he went with Glenn Beck, the teddy bear rhino type of a guy now, who's turned very soft. Maybe he always was. I don't know. And Glenn Beck is a nice guy too, right? But that's part of the problem. They went and sent teddy bears and soccer balls to the children at the border, making it comfortable for them. And I had an argument with the great Mary from San Antonio about this. You don't want to make it, and I think that she would agree, you don't want to make it overly comfortable for these people. And that's what Trump's point is. We're spoiling these people, rewarding them for doing wrong. That's why I was kind of outraged when I read in Hake News last week about, on behalf of Spain, right? There's all these West African countries, Mali, M-A-L-I, I don't know how to pronounce it, and Senegal, these people getting human smuggled to the Canary Islands. They were going to mainland Spain for a while, but I think the UN or somewhere, or the EU said, you know what, we'll help you block those people from coming there. But so they go to the Canary Islands and they're overrunning the Canary Islands, which sounds like a nice place. Canary Islands sounds like a beautiful place. Not anymore. And there's 80% men over the age of 18 too, by the way, most of them. Fleeing these countries, fighting age men, fleeing their own country to go to Spain. It's not like it's an uninhabited land. It's crazy. So that guy is complaining. He's acting like these are bad things that Trump wanted to do. And if he's telling the truth, it's hard to tell because rhinos do lie. This guy went so-called anonymous for the New York Slimes and for some book publisher that put out a book by him, acting like he's, some righteous person, part of the resistance inside the White House. And so the LA Times, that's just a side note, the LA Times, LA Slimes, Los Angeles Slimes put out, you know how we did the propositions? JesseLeePeterson.com, scroll down and you'll see how he recommends based on recommendations from SaveCalifornia.com, if you're Californian, right? But it also has CraigHuey.com. If you go to CraigHuey.com and then you look at like voter guide or something like that, you can find whatever state you're in if you're in the United States, right? And you're legally voting, right? Because we don't allow illegal stuff. Then you can find your recommendations for probably the propositions, I don't know, but also definitely judges. This guy is good about judges, Craig Huey. He's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show many times over the years. And he's also talked about ballot harvesting on the Jesse Lee Peterson show pretty recently. But Prop 22 is something that allows some people to continue working as a independent contractor. For example, in Uber drivers and all those people, it's become very common for people have a tough time finding work or just a side job or do something on their own time, make extra money. It's a nice opportunity. But the Democrats here in California, led by this Latina, Lorena Gonzalez, I think is her name. Lorena Gonzalez authored this, I forget what, I think it's called AB 5. And it passed into law. And I think it became law officially the beginning of this year, 2020. And there was concern that Uber drivers were not going to be able to drive anymore, or they would have to become treated like employees. And then they started this Prop 22 to make exceptions. But they should get rid of that thing entirely because the federal and the state government have no business meddling in the rights of workers to contract with employers. Right to contract. Well, Twitter, the far-left publisher, enemy of President Trump and enemy of America, supports Black Lives Matter lies, supports Me Too lies and speculation and smears on men, mostly. They're promoting this article, an Uber driver died of COVID-19. And they show this man. He might have given me a ride in the past. Poor man. But hey, you took the risk. He was overweight. That's partly his fault, right? It's your fault if you're overweight. And he was not a young man. He was not a young buck. He looks like your stereotypical cab driver. And he would drive 80 hours a week sometimes, according to the LA Slimes. Prop 22 will decide his family's fate. As part of Proposition 1 of 22, one of the highest profile measures on Tuesday's ballot, Californians will decide what should happen to families like the Zaids. This man is named Khaled Khaled Zaid. When he died of COVID complications, he died of other complications too, obesity, who knows what else. His family was left without a breadwinner. They applied to state workers' compensation program for death benefits and got nothing. I heard that they could have gotten over $300,000 from the father, or this man, the man of the house, dying. That is a lot of money. But they're trying to soak Uber for it, rather than they have enough welfare to take care of these people. They're going to be fine. Let's be honest. They're in the state of California. They're going to be quite well taken care of. They won't even have to really build some character work or whatever. They would be fine anyways. But there's this whole propaganda by this writer, this female writer, Suhauna Hussein, who is a she/her on Twitter. A she/her. You know she's a liberal. You know she's a brainwashed liberal to put she/her on Twitter, FYI. Because anybody who puts she/her when it's obviously a female, Suhauna, I recognize it as a female name because it ends in A, right? And the profile picture is a little girl. I guess that's a child picture, baby picture from when she was in kindergarten, whatever. Not baby, but. And she doesn't need to put that she/her thing. But that's a kiss up to the notion of transgenderism or gender nonconformist or gender non-binary or whatever. You know? It's dumb. So you can tell that she's a dumb liberal. And she writes for LA Slimes. You practically don't even have to know anything else. But she wrote this article, "This Uber driver died of COVID, a Prop 22 story." And she's been putting out anti-Prop 22 propaganda. Because the Los Angeles Slimes is an anti-Trump outlet. Their editors have put out, articles against Trump. No, they've put out a whole book against Trump. Maybe more than one. And Prop 22 is for a little bit of freedom. It's not even complete freedom for all independent contractors. It's just making an exception because Uber and Lyft and these other companies are very rich and powerful, and so they're able to lobby and gather support, and they're very popular too, so they can get the word out. But meanwhile, the whole mainstream media, the whole Democrat Party, which is pretty much the state of California, is attacking the rights of people. And there are a lot of Democrats, by the way, who are working these jobs, and they don't support this. But she writes on behalf of the workers who are like, I don't know if I should be supporting this Prop 22, because Uber is pressuring the employees and the customers. You open up the app, it says, vote yes on Prop 22. They have the right to defend themselves. But they have the whole establishment, media, social media, and Democrat Party all colluding against the individuals and businesses. And Uber is a bunch of liberals too. Lyft too. There are a bunch of liberals, but they do have a right to have independent contractors. You have the right to contract. Sleazy. So, I will get to your calls and all that stuff. Let me read a few of your super chats. Noah's Ark, Kansas. Noah's Ark, Kansas, thank you for the support. Jesse Lee Peterson and Dark Side of the Bear, what? Hosting the show. Penny Rue gave a diamond. Thank you. Peter from Periscope. Hake, wash your veggies. Yes. I tweeted out under my James Hampton Hake account. And I tagged Vaughn's on it. You know, these bins, these little bins of spinach or whatever. It says triple washed and ready to eat, or washed and ready to eat. And, you know, a couple of years ago, I found like a dead, dried mosquito. Yeah, it says washed and ready to eat. And one had a dead, dried mosquito. That kind of grossed me out. I think I might have returned that one. Although it's probably fine, you know. That's why it's organic, because it has, well, this one didn't say triple washed, but other ones have said triple washed. But this one says washed and ready to eat. And, you know, I found a bunch of, like, dirt on practically every leaf of the spinach. So I had to, like, individually wash this stuff. Oh man, first world problems, right? That's kind of a liberal phrase, but it's it's true. I had to individually, and it's baby spinach, so it's like obnoxious because you have to, you take 10 minutes to wash a dozen leaves. And it takes you half a second to eat it, or half a minute. But anyway, yeah, wash your veggies. At least I'm eating veggies, right? But it's funny because I could easily get sick from eating the vegetables. I should just stick with McDonald's. No. I'm kidding. But yeah. But thank you, Peter from Periscope. It's recommended. Be alert. Use a spinner. I don't know. There's all sorts of things that you can do. Freshly washed organic mosquito. I mean, a mosquito, they say that bugs are, and if it was dried, these things were dried, right? It's protein. But I don't know. There are, I've heard, it was obviously dirt, right? And inside of dirt, there could be animal droppings. And animal droppings can get people sick. I've heard stories. When I was in college, towards the end of my college career in like 04, 03, I think, I remember a crazy incident where people would buy these veggies and it had animal dung on it and people got sick. And it was supposed to be washed, but it wasn't. So wash your veggies, people. Anyway, I happened to look up the word hate speech. It's in Jesse Lee Peterson's Wikipedia page. Hate speech. You know, because YouTube updated their phony hate speech policy. Shows you how corrupted and subverted YouTube is. Google is evil, right? Google owns YouTube. YouTube updated their so-called hate speech policy. If they were Americans, they wouldn't have any hate speech policy because they would believe in free speech. They wouldn't have this fake idea of hate speech. But no, they kiss up to Europe and other evil people inside of America, too. Hate speech is defined by the Cambridge Dictionary as public speech that expresses hate, okay, everything the Democrats say, or encourages violence toward a person, such as when the mainstream media compares Trump to Hitler, that encourages violence towards Trump and his supporters, or a group based on something such as race, religion, sex, or sexual orientation. Hate speech is usually thought to blah, 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 and it goes on. But it's ridiculous. That's a stupid definition. And that's from Cambridge. That used to be, I bet you that used to be a Christian university. Cambridge Dictionary. Or Cambridge. Sorry, Brits. In practice, all of these, the dictionary is fake news. All dictionaries are fake news because they're written by dumb intellectuals. Because in practice, it's always something else. And it's a complete fake and false, misdirected idea. People's criticisms of the behavior of so many blacks, right? For example. And they're called, since there's blacks always crying racism over any little thing, including the well-behaved blacks, right? Blacks being unreasonable very frequently, often committing more crimes, often being loud and obnoxious more often. Those are based on behavior and not race, as they're being criticized based on their behavior of so many of them. When you say, oh, America was racist, are you stereotyping whites based on their race? No, you're stereotyping whites based on the false reputation, the false caricature of history. That would be a false stereotype. Or their criticisms based on shameless homosexuals is based on the lack of morality and respect and lack of dignity. The shameless homosexuals and their so-called allies, communist allies, shameful promotion of immorality as right, okay, something to be proud of, and rhinos, by the way. And it's not just homosexuals who promote homosexuality as fine, it's straight perverts too. As Jesus said in the Bible, all porneia. That's one of those Greek words or whatever. I cracked. I'm growing. Bill Lockwood, you know, the great Bill Lockwood who goes on the Jesse Lee Peterson show at the end of the month, last Tuesday of the month typically, first hour. He says that word that Jesus said when he said all sorts of sexual immorality includes slut-making, fornication, homosexuality, lust, etc. And yet that's just hate speech if you pretend, unless you pretend gay is okay. It's hate speech based on so-called sexual orientation. So fake news, Cambridge, or take religion, Islam, as Jesse is quoted in Wikipedia as saying, is an evil religion. Judaism without Christ, empty, evil religion. Christians who continue to sin, evil, fake religion. The people who say, oh, I continue to sin to this day, or to that day I die.
To this day.
There is only one true religion. So you can't say, oh, based on religion, because religions disagree with each other, and they have the right. Human beings disagree with each other. And the true religion includes keeping oneself from being polluted by the world. Atheism is a fake religion. It's produced socialism, communism, the most deadly political ideology, I dare say. Lastly, take sex. Oh, based on sex, which is gender. Same thing, right? Women are different from men. They have different roles. But if you pretend that women and men are quote-unquote equal, right, which is a deceptive and vague word, then you'll pretend, as with the stuff above that I mentioned, that the truth is hate speech. If you're one of those Cambridge people who pretends that women and men are equal. If you don't, then it's hate speech. Fake idea. Hatred is not speech, it's the state of your heart. And all people are haters, especially the ones who are pushing the hate speech stuff. But everybody, even the people who don't believe in hate speech, most of them, I would say. Because there's a lot of more logical people who also have hatred in their heart too, right? It's just a reality of life. You can say the sweetest words, always be nice, is what they've bullied I hate the word, right? Bullied the whites into doing, including their parents, right? But hate and evil will take you still, and everyone around you, and it will infect you yourself, even if you're the nicest person. I bet you that Miles Taylor is a so-called nice guy, that traitor, but he hates. He hates Trump. He hates what's right. He donated to Barack Obama. What a ridiculous person. So that he could tell his kids, He was thinking politics as a young male. 2008, he would have been, what, 21 years old? Born in 87, 97, 2007, 2008. What a sucker. 21-year-old Obama supporter. So he could, I don't even know if this guy's married. So anyway, speaking of hate speech, okay, I have something exciting to play for you guys. You heard about this, right? I mentioned it last week in Hake News, and I didn't realize that this Paul Ng guy, I don't know, was an older gentleman. Yeah. And yes, he does seem to be a gentleman in my view. And I call him a political prisoner. I don't know if he's still in jail. I would be shocked. A political prisoner, that is to, can I say this word? To traitorous Scottsdale, Arizona. I'll keep it clean. Once I post the blog, I probably won't change this word. Scottsdale, Arizona, I gathered that this was where it happened. They arrested him for disorderly conduct. This Paul Ng guy who confronted a black male who called himself a famous YouTuber. Well, he's kind of famous now, a little. I don't know that he was that famous. But I pictured this Paul Ng guy being younger. I think it might be pronounced Ing. Is it Ing? Any Asians in here? Taiwanese, whatever? Okay. So I saw this again from TMZ. I had dealt with it. I was like, whatever. But I have the clip for you guys. And I cleaned it up. I bleeped out the N-words, not because it offends my sensibilities or necessarily yours. In fact, it might be more offensive that the N-word is bleeped to you guys. But I also bleeped the cuss words from the black dude, of course, right? Black man cussing. Doesn't take much. And I use the term man loosely. But, I mean, I cut him some slack, right? They don't have a chance. But, you saw that this dumb black YouTuber who recorded this incident put this guy on blast. Here is the confrontation between an middle-aged, let's call him, Paul Ng, who was blowing leaves, I guess, in a beautiful little area in Scottsdale, Arizona, I gather. And then this YouTuber with his buddy taking videos. I guess they had just moved to Arizona, he claims, on the video. And they have a little confrontation because Paul Ng is looking out for his community. Watch this. And listen.
What's the issue?
What's up?
Why are you coming over here?
I just want to see what you guys are taking pictures of.
Why is it your business?
Oh, you know what? This is my home.
Okay, mine too. Why are you taking pictures
Where
of
do
me?
you live?
I live in Scottsdale. Why are you taking pictures of me?
Michigan plates?
Yeah, why are you taking pictures of me?
Well, you know what? We've had problems here.
I don't care. You don't know me. Why are you taking pictures of me? And I don't know you. Do you know a lot of white men are doing racist things in this world, sir?
No.
You don't know that? You're not aware
I'm
of
a
that?
racist.
You are a racist.
I'm a racist.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay? So
what's
the
your
issue?
point? Why are you here?
Because this is a no zone.
Not really.
Oh, is it?
Not really, sir.
Tell me.
There's not a no niggas on. I'm here. And what
But
I'm
you
about
don't
to
live
do,
here.
what
But
I'm
you
about to
don't
do,
live here.
I do. I stay here. What I'm about to do,
Yeah.
me and my friend, we about to record our video,
Okay.
and you not gonna do a motherfucking thing about it. Y'all hear me?
That's fine.
You
I'll
not
tell you
gonna
what. What do
do
you
a
want to hear me say?
motherfucking thing. I don't want to hear you say nothing.
Oh, I'll tell you what, though.
You just not gonna do another motherfucking thing. So,
What?
as y'all see,
You're
can't keep
filming
the
me
camera.
doesn't stop
Yeah.
me from doing things.
It doesn't mean I'm about to record my video,
Okay.
and this bitch ass nigga not gonna do anything,
Okay.
and let you try to touch me. Let you try to touch him.
Oh, I wouldn't touch you.
Let you already disrespecting me. Can you step back a little bit? I feel like you harming.
We are 6 feet.
Yeah, no. I need you to step back. So, don't listen to what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm gonna lay your bitch ass down. It's okay. I'm gonna lay you down. I'm gonna lay you down.
Sounds like a threat.
Yeah. So just stay where you at.
You ain't man enough.
It's okay. You don't gotta think I'm man enough, my baby. Yeah, just keep it walking. And it's gonna be like that today, y'all. I hope y'all seen all of that. I am a famous YouTuber. This is actually his establishment. So anybody,
Look at that. That's sleazy.
y'all all know I just moved to Arizona, and this is his friend as well. So anybody that come to this establishment, y'all know what it is. Y'all know exactly what his establishment is, and y'all know where he works. And it's okay. Hey, we got money and we doing well. He mad. So we gonna handle it like that. You saw he walked away, cause I got something for him and this man. But Kane, pick up your camera. We about to get this in.
Crazy, huh? That's messed up. And he put the establishment on blast, and he didn't even know what he was talking about. It turns out that establishment, River Trading Post or whatever it was, did not belong to this man. He made a false assumption. He tried to get sick Black Lives Matter lynch mob on the establishment, and the employees are like, "No, we're on your side." It came out. That's what as was reported in the news. And he says, "Oh, it don't mean boop. It doesn't mean anything to me." He's pretending like it's no big deal. But I look later, and this guy is like, "I had to relive this." I'll play that for you in a second. Why did this guy call himself the N-word? He called himself the N-word. I guess because young blacks are encouraged to think of themselves as N-words. Self-respecting old school blacks didn't think of themselves as N-words. They would say, "I understand, but I'm not an N-word," to this Asian man. And the Asian man seems like he's being nice. I don't think that he did. Where did he do anything wrong? Except he used a word that's so-called inflammatory, even though this guy kept on repeating it endlessly. Just a straightforward man. And he's photographing the guy in public, by the way. I'm going to show you a better way to handle being photographed in public by the great Tucker Carlson. And the man says, we've been having problems, right? Paul Ng, political prisoner, hero. Because he says we've been having problems. He's looking out for his community, right? And the black guy says, "I don't care. You don't know me." Exactly. He doesn't know you. That's why he's concerned. You fit the profile with this crazy beanie and, well, he's not wearing a beanie. That's his hair. With this crazy ball on his head, you know, the wild hair. Young black man. Could go either way. Could be an upstanding young man. Could be a liberal who behaves himself but believes in the racism thing, as he turned out to be. Or he could be a wild, violent person who tears up. He looks kind of like that James Scurlock guy, the 22-year-old young man who tore apart some stores in Omaha, Nebraska, and violently rioted. And then he jumped on a bar owner who was defending his father with a gun. The bar owner had a gun. And he shot James Scurlock in the clavicle or somewhere. Scurlock ended up dying. And Scurlock was he was more light-skinned than this guy, I think. Young black male. It fits the profile. Racial profiling. Racial assessing the risk assessment. And you saw him like looking around. The Asian guy said, well, if you watch the video, the Asian guy said, "Look around. This is not a place where blacks are allowed to run wild," basically, is what he's saying. Because it's very beautiful, well kept. He's blowing leaves. Crazy. And honestly, he kind of acted like an N-word. Why did cops arrest this guy? He got arrested afterwards and charged with disorderly conduct? Please. He was not disorderly. Yeah, saying the N-word is not the most polite thing, but it's an honest disagreement between men. And the black dude escalated it more. And it's lucky that Paul was smart and self-respecting enough to, like, back away. It was an honest disagreement and misunderstanding. Yeah, and he threatened him. He said, I'm going to lay you down he said, if you lay a hand on me or whatever. As if Paul was even going to do that. He was just taking pictures and saying, we've been having problems. Crazy. And it's a misunderstanding between two gentlemen, and the state or the local police have nothing to do about it, honestly. And yes, I'm graciously calling the black dude a gentleman. They both perhaps could have handled it better, especially the black guy, but he's a young, black, brainwashed, angry young man. And this guy got fired, too. I heard that he was in real estate or something. Cowardly companies. I want to say another word, but cowardly companies. And the black dude was prejudiced, too. He put the establishment on blast, that some store, right? Had nothing to do with the Asian man. Typical angry black BLM lynch mob attitude. And he said, white people have been doing racist things. and the Asian guy says, no, I'm a racist. Blacks are so blind and lost. They're the ones committing the so-called racist things. Wild hair. Ridiculous. And why are you taking pictures of me? He's like, why are you taking pictures of... Let me just play this. He didn't apologize. He said that he forgives this Paul Ng guy. And I don't know if it's inside of the clip. I kind of cut it short. It's clip... you might be able to find it. You might be able to tell which one it is. Oh, it's 16. Clip 16. Here is... I think it was an interview with TMZ or something. TMZ put it out. I got it from them. But this Abram guy, who goes by LILAJDRE or something like that. All one word. He talks about, he's been fired and he's been facing charges. I'm trying to move on. That's evil. That guy should face no charges. It was a disagreement. And they went their separate ways. No harm done, honestly. But it's an attack upon fake racism. Here is this guy so-called forgiving the racist for what? For what? Listen to this.
It's just replayed in my mind, and it still does. As you can imagine, people are doing reactions, and I'm seeing it on the news, so it's constantly replaying, and I have to relive this situation frequently, and I'm just learning how to breathe through it and calm down. I forgive him about this situation, but I moving forward, I just pray that he understands that this isn't okay. This isn't okay. It's not right to do. He's been prosecuted. He lost his job, and he's getting penalties to the furthest extent. So I feel like he's dealing with the things that he should, the penalties that comes with something of his actions. So I forgive him. I don't hold any grudges against any person here on earth. So my forgiveness is there, but it's just not okay. So I hope he understands that and understands moving forward that, hey, you gotta, if that is how you feel, just keep it in your heart. Or, if that is the lifestyle you choose, just keep it to yourself. You don't have to go on a public road and display that.
You know what? Even though I totally disagree with this young man, and he's trying to be a Christian, no hatred in my heart. He might be kind of self-deceived, but that's actually good advice. Keep it to yourself because the laws are against freedom of speech. Isn't that interesting? That anybody looking out for their community, and yeah, he kind of went needlessly inflammatory, if you will, on camera saying it's a no N-word zone. Make sure the cameras are off if you're going to talk like that, because the public is going to pretend, the brainwashed, dumb public is going to go after you when you're not necessarily in the wrong, right? So he's getting it. He is getting it. And I consider it unjust, but It's actually kind of good advice to be smart with your words and with your deeds. Be wise. Stay cool. So that's kind of true. But this guy, that's not forgiveness. And I mean, he seems to be kind of happy that this guy is getting so-called prosecuted to the furthest extent, which is ridiculous. But, you know, this guy's a young guy, doesn't know better than, and he gets encouraged by the world and probably by his mama to react this way. So blind and lost. What a shame. Hake's a lot nicer than me, LOL. Yeah, no, silly. By the way, that bar owner who defended himself against James Scurlock in that other story from Omaha, Nebraska, another young black male, light-skinned, I think. That bar owner allegedly went on to commit suicide because he lost everything and they were going after him. Lynch mob, even if you defend yourself lawfully, avoid these situations, people, because we don't have justice in America right now. Right? Protect yourselves, is what I'm saying. All right? Avoid the situation. Whites are not allowed to kill blacks in self-defense when the blacks are threatening their lives. Look at that former cop, Darren Wilson. Darren Wilson completely just defended himself. And now nobody even hears from him. I mean, not that we wanted to hear from him, but he lost his job for doing his job. And to this day, they are...
To this day.
I see the hand move towards the drop. They are still trying to prosecute it. Still trying to investigation after investigation after investigation. Let me quickly get... Oh, man, I'm way over the hour. You know what? Let me take a quick break. I'm going to show you... I'll get to some calls. Some people want to talk about this clip, I think. And I will show you a clip of Tucker Carlson being... Granted, Tucker Carlson is older, more mature, white, well-raised, doesn't fall for the fake racism thing and all that stuff. Tucker Carlson shows you how to handle having cameras on you. It's just something that surfaced from... It's several years old. It surfaced in September or so. And I just thought I would share it with you. Show maybe Andre Abram how to handle it, right? Or also this other guy, I don't know. And hopefully some other things. Oh. Let me play this clip. Clip 11 for the break. And I'll probably have to, you might have to play something after it. There's the New York Slant, or I don't know if it was the New York Times. NBC News and factcheck.org and Twitter, the far-left anti-Trump outlet, said, there is no record of Joe Biden ever using the term super predator. Trump may be confusing him with Hillary Clinton. And here is based Hillary Clinton talking about the violent black criminals of the early 90s, back when Hillary Clinton was young and pretty and told a little bit of something that sounded like it was the truth. So listen to this, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes. This is 1 minute, and then we'll play a little bit of a song. All right? I'll be right back for the rest of hour 2. Thanks, guys.
The kinds of kids that are called super predators, we have to bring them to heel. Super predators, no conscience, no empathy. Super predators, we have to bring them to heel. Super predators, no conscience, no empathy. Super predators, super predators, super predators, super predators. Super predators, we have to bring them to heel. Super predators, no conscience, no empathy. Super predators, we have to bring them to heel. Super predators, no conscience, no empathy. Super predators.
Wasn't that nice from Hillary? Wasn't that so refreshing? We have to bring them to heel. And they complain, that's one of my drawbacks about Trump's debate performance versus Joe Biden, that the 1994 crime bill, or whatever it was, you know, we had to bring them to heel. There were 800, 900, 1,000 or more murders in New York City, maybe Los Angeles, maybe Chicago, but in these major cities. And now there are like 300, which is a ton still. It's like way high. In the 50s, per capita, the murder rate was quite low. Per capita. Yes, we had a smaller population. It was less crowded. Oh, crowding makes murders happen. No. Immorality. And honestly, I didn't mind her saying super predators. I remember it coming out in the 2016 thing. I'm like, oh, I like that. But she didn't stand by it because she's not about the truth. And if Joe Biden ever said it, I tend to believe President Trump because he says his sources tell him that Joe Biden used it too. If Hillary Clinton called them that, then I wouldn't doubt that Joe Biden, because he's a follower. Joe Biden is a follower. He follows the crowd. He follows what's trendy. That's why he followed same-sex marriage. Before Obama, by the way. Well, Obama, we already knew he was for same-sex marriage. He just was lying about it and pretending he was for traditional marriage. But Joe Biden is a follower. A kiss-up. A fake. And so is Hillary, honestly. But why didn't Joe Biden, you know, NBC News and factcheck.org and the far left publisher Twitter are pretending that, oh, Joe, there's no record of Joe ever using that term super predator regarding to blacks, right? Well, it's actually regarding black criminals who commit murder. That would be especially with no remorse. And especially in the 90s. The 90s with the crack epidemic, it was crazy out of control. I was even scared over in El Monte. Well, I wasn't scared, but you would hear about these crazy... It wasn't blacks, though. Those were Hispanics. Hayes and Hicks and Flores. All those gangs. And it was pretty bad, too. I was like, oh, the Mexican gangs are as bad as the blacks. Actually, no. The blacks are worse. Well, down in Mexico, maybe the Mexicans are worse. Because Mexico has some of the worst cities in terms of murders, but also many black cities too. But I believe Trump's sources over NBC News, so-called news, or factcheck.org. And why didn't Joe Biden, because he was confronted about it by President Trump twice in both debates, the first one and the so-called third one, which was the second, but it was supposed to be the third one. Both debates, Trump pointed it out to Joe Biden. Said, you used the term super predators. Is Joe Biden not remember whether he used it or not, so he didn't deny it or something? Granted, there were a lot of fake accusations against Trump that Trump didn't correct the record on because, like, they just keep on throwing accusation after accusation after accusation against him, including the fake news woman, that Indian, I think she's American Indian and black, that woman in the third debate. She said, you said that black athletes should be fired for using their First Amendment right at the job, you know, kneeling for the national anthem. Just couch it in the worst, most dishonest, typical liberal way possible, ignoring the wrongdoing of the blacks. So, super predators, no conscience, no empathy. We need to bring them to heel. And it's getting bad again because of the support for Black Lives Matter by sleaze like Joe Biden. And Hillary Clinton, by the way, she kissed up to that stuff too. So let me quickly, and who knows, Paul Ng, he wanted to keep the super predators out of Scottsdale. Anyway, let me get to some callers. Rick in Hampton, Virginia. Rick, what's up?
Brother James, my brother, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Doing pretty good, man. Getting ready for this election, man.
Right on.
Because I'm praying for a tsunami victory for President Trump.
Nice. Yeah, that would be great.
That way it avoid all the courts. And it can be a tsunami.
Yeah. I mean, the courts are so corrupt right now. And I
Right.
kind of am
You know what I
happy
mean?
that he's appointed a whole lot of judges, but I don't really have high hopes for all of these judges. In fact, I have no faith in them at this point because they haven't proven themselves. Because look at the Supreme Court justices that he's nominated, which, I mean, when you have a crop of duds, what else are you going to get? But it would have been nice if he put in, like, Judge Roy Moore. I don't think that would have gone through Congress, though, or Senate. I think the Senate has to confirm. But, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, because I think Trump picked a female, which to me was a smart move. I say that because they look at you because they gonna tear men apart. So if President Trump would have nominated any man, they tore him up like piranhas. So
That's
President
true.
Trump
If he wanted to get an appointment in before 2020, I mean before the 2020 election, which he successfully did, then yes. I don't know at what cost. That remains to be seen. Maybe she'll retire early.
Well, do
I don't know.
Well, do you like Judge Kavanaugh, who President Trump has nominated? And
honestly, I kind of like them all, but I think of all of them as soft. And Gorsuch, I kind of liked the best out of the three, but he seems to be maybe the worst out of those. Between him and Kavanaugh, he seems like he might be worse than Kavanaugh. So it's hard to tell. These guys are so wishy-washy, you know?
All you gotta do is decide
Men
what's
today.
the Constitution.
Say that again?
Decide, like, if they have an issue, if it's against the Constitution or not, that's it, and keep your personal feelings behind. That's all they have to do, man.
That'd be great.
It's just amazing, man. I don't know, Brother James, man. It seems like men are getting really feminism now. What do you think?
I totally agree, man. And honestly, I don't know if you heard or saw or were aware of that clip that I played earlier with the no N-word zone.
Yes, I was about to call in about that one too. And that a black person, let's say he go to a neighborhood. And let's say if a neighborhood watch pulls up on them and say, "Hey, what are you doing here?"
Yeah.
They would get angry, talking about their constitutional rights, all that
I know.
mess. I'm like, asking the man a question. If you're not doing nothing wrong, ask his question.
Yeah, be friendly.
Sometimes they can be trying to save your life.
Right.
And I had a situation.
And it's
go ahead, James.
And it's just common decency. This guy,
Right.
he reminded me of like one of those black females. He's like, okay. And he's like, I don't know. It just totally reminded me of some of the black female attitudes that I've seen from similar situations. Anyway, you were about to tell a story?
Yeah, and I had that situation. A guy, I was in Gary, Indiana. I'm walking in the neighborhood. Guy pulled up on me. He said, "Hey, what you doing here?" I said, "Look, I'm here to visit my friend." I showed him the house. He stayed there and everything. And me and that security guy became the best of friends.
Nice.
So I know that you're trying to do a job. You're trying to keep the neighborhood safe.
Right. That's how
I don't have no problem with that.
I know. When I was young and looked like a whippersnapper, the police stopped me. I was hanging out by the wash over at the high school that I used to be a runner at, and we would run on the trail. And so I hung out there after I graduated a little bit, just overlooking, there's a nice lake or reservoir, just checking it out.
Right.
And he's like, What are you doing here? We've had a drug problem. I didn't have any problem with being stopped.
I know.
Just had a good attitude
answer
about
the
it because,
question.
hey, I'm glad that
That's
you're
it.
dealing with it. I don't like
Right.
druggies being around this area. Yeah.
That comes from liberals, liberal blacks, liberal whites,
Yeah.
putting it, making blacks feel like victims, instead of and it comes down to a lot of black children don't have fathers.
Yeah.
So they don't understand authority, and it's so this generation. It seems like they got an opinion about everything, even if something is right. They still got an opinion about it. To me, that's a new way of being rebellious. What you think there, James?
Yeah, I think so too. It's funny because this guy, in that interview afterwards, I don't know who he was talking to. He seemed like he was trying to be nice, but isn't it interesting? They tell like the people who are, he said, go in the closet if you really feel that way. They tell the people who are recognizing that there's a problem with black crime, right? And black rioting and tearing apart businesses. This guy is looking out for his community. And yeah, he said no N-word zone, right? But you didn't have to say N-word. But he has the right to say it, but he didn't have to say it, right?
Right.
But he says that, which is a harmless situation. Go in the closet with it. But meanwhile, you can't tell the gays to go back into the closet and have some shame and respect and dignity. Or you can't tell the blacks they don't have a right to protest when they don't have anything to complain about. Yeah.
It is so amazing. Just like, for example, did you hear about the Biden, some Trump support surrounded a Biden van? I don't know what state that was. Did you hear about that?
I have a little clip of interesting and slightly dangerous situation from.
And the liberals do the same thing with conservative people.
Yeah.
They harass them too, and you don't hear no media coverage at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
They do the same thing.
Tom, it was complete hypocrisy. It was so rich. Hearing like these Biden supporters and mainstream media all accusing these people of doing wrong. I loved how President Trump defended them. Right on to him for saying, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I can tell, they did nothing wrong. Nice. Because
that's right. The long as they didn't force them over, try and make them cause accidents, to say anything, if they follow that van all the way to wherever it was going, as long as they ain't do anything, they're fine.
Yep.
I mean,
but I liked how they ran them off because those guys canceled 3 events in Texas, I think. Or at least so they claimed, right? So they claimed. But that's cool. Right on.
I don't see why just because they was following them, why they canceled the event for.
I don't know. I think that might have just been drama. They've been, grandstanding as though, intimidation. Yeah. Meanwhile, they've been intimidating, harassing, surrounding, attacking Trump supporters around the country and world.
And no media coverage whatsoever. No.
Right. Yeah, no, the media is on the side of Antifa and Black Lives Matter and Democrats.
I'm like, wait a minute. And they blow it all on social media. And this black guy was like, see what kind of people we are against? We need to vote this guy out. I'm like, you know what? It's like, I said, they do the same thing to President Trump supporters.
Yeah.
And no one complains about that. No media coverage or nothing.
Yeah.
But time this here get over here, man, we gotta hope and pray that they lose, man. It's just,
we'll see,
man. It's just, what do you think about it, though?
I think
good at what?
Trump is giving himself the best chance that he can to win, and he's fighting for us, and we need to fight in the right way as well. So I think that he will win, likely, but we'll see what happens. We will see.
It's going to be this probably one of the most interesting elections, man, I ever been involved in, man.
It's so ridiculous because there's no energy for Joe Biden. Joe Biden nor for Kamala Harris. Neither of them are likable at all. They're dishonest people,
I don't
phonies.
Like either one of them. Yep.
They're transparently phony. Kamala is probably more obviously, well, I don't know. They're both real ridiculous phonies. So
I think she just uses her looks to get her around, and so I think she uses that to her full advantage.
Right,
I believe she do.
Rapidly dwindling looks, I might add, but
I know. It's just crazy, man. It's like, I don't know. It's like even like the '94 crime bill. I'm sick of them talking about that.
yeah,
Oh, Biden's crime bill put a lot of blacks in jail. No, it didn't.
no,
Blacks put themselves in jail.
yep,
And everybody signed off on that bill. Republicans, Black Caucus members,
Yep.
everybody, church, mayors, pastors, all of them signed off on the crime bill.
I know.
But needless to say, blacks, trying to sell crack cocaine and stuff, so they with the drug game has come violence,
yep,
and all that come in. Whoever thought that that would be the black man's choice of drug?
right.
No one knew that. No one can predict
And
that. So how?
they pretend that powder versus I don't know what those things, crack cocaine
Yeah,
versus whatever
right.
But it's because of the violent crime associated with the black
With the
one.
crack cocaine.
Duh.
Yeah.
It's white, but it's black people.
It's easy. Yeah, because here it was. Nobody knew what was going to happen once that law was made. But as always, the blacks got involved with the crack cocaine because it's cheaper to get, and they sold it, and all the violence came from that. Whoever knew that? Like, they made
Right.
it all specifically for blacks.
And honestly,
Nobody.
man, these people, we have an under-incarceration problem. There are cases where people should have been in jail when they weren't, and they end up killing somebody or getting themselves killed or whatever. This is so frequent. Trayvon Martin even, like there's this whole campaign amongst the liberals now, which back then the liberals were on the side because everybody was saying this crime is out of control. The crime is still out of control, but less so now. But they're pretending, because of the suburbs, we can be comfortable. But they're trying to bring the crime into the suburbs too. They're pretending that we need to be softer on crime rather than tough on crime. And that's what helps the situation. It's crazy. It's the best thing for these communities.
Bring the death penalty back in.
Yes.
The death penalty, when somebody kills somebody, a lot of liberal states have outlawed the death penalty.
I know.
You still have a few red states that carry the death penalty, but if you kill somebody in a crime, you deserve the death penalty, period.
Yep, I agree. But they allow
outlawed it.
But they allow these corrupt courts, talking about these federal judges that Trump wants to get rid of. I don't know if it's all federal judges, but these corrupt courts allow endless appeals when we know the guy is guilty. When we know the guy is guilty, there should be no question, no appeal. You're done. And it should be swift.
That's it.
It should be within a matter of a few days or a couple of weeks, whatever we need. It cannot be dragging on for years.
Oh, man, by the time it drag on, man, you better forget about the man case.
Yeah, exactly. It needs to be, justice should be swift, I think. So.
Yep, it should. It should. Especially when you murder somebody. So it's knowing that you committed a robbery, you killed two store employees, you're on tape.
Yep.
What kind of appeals do you need?
I know.
So you get someone like Mays. I would love to one day debate her. I wouldn't take it personal with her. But a lot of blacks, man, they get their information off CNN, cable nonsense news.
Right.
And they never. You can ask the average black, what has Joe Biden done for us? And it would take them until their birthday to tell you what he done.
Yeah, I know. Rick, I enjoyed talking with you. I got to run.
You too. Thanks for taking my call, James. Love you guys. God bless, brother.
All right.
Good work.
You too. Take care. Let me get to Danny in Maryland. He understands why the Asian man would say that. Danny, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing fine too. Thanks for calling.
Yeah. I was just wondering what do they expect? They're destroying the whole country.
Yeah.
And when somebody stands up, I understand the guy said some foul things that you probably shouldn't, but he still has the right to. But what do they expect? All we see on the news is them destroying everything.
Right.
And then this leftist news tries to cover it and call it a protest.
Yeah.
Whereas a riot, people are not stupid.
I know.
People can see.
Yeah.
So what? I don't get it, man.
That's a good point, man. I mean, we've seen even just last week they were rioting in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, over a man.
Yeah, my town.
Yeah, and that's a man who should have been incarcerated. He had allegedly pointed a gun at somebody's head and broke into the door of the house. It happened to be a woman, but I downplay that part because pointing a gun at anybody's head, you deserve to be in prison unless it was to defend yourself. But I don't think there was if you broke down the guy's door or gal.
Oh man, if you point a gun at somebody, you're forfeiting your right to live. Period.
Yeah.
You're threatening somebody's life.
Yeah.
I left Philadelphia. I love that city, but I left it because of the drugs and crime, man.
Yeah.
It was horrible. I used to live in North Philly. It was horrible, man. It was Afghanistan.
That's Philadelphia. We're showing a picture of Philadelphia right now. They burning a car. This was just last week, I believe. Black Lives Matter filling the streets. The cops are just lining on the outside doing nothing, basically. And it has a Democrat, soft, I guess white. I don't know. Maybe he's not like a white Christian normal person, but look at that. They're just tearing apart stores, stealing stuff.
And then they expect people to just lay back like everybody. And plus this has got to stop, man. I really hope that Donald Trump wins.
I'm showing. Yeah, I agree. Let me just interrupt briefly to say, look at this, how this store is torn apart. There's all of this equipment and racks and clothing on the street outside of this express store, right? Imagine looking at that and then blaming the Asian man for trying to defend Scottsdale and saying, this is a no N-word zone. This would make you say N-word. If there's a time to say N-word, that's a time to say N-word. And I don't think
what happened to the
decent blacks would disagree.
The reporter, Elijah Schaefer.
Yeah, he got his lip busted up there.
Oh my God, they're out of control, man.
Yeah,
and it's sad because it's all emotions and they're being driven by the fake media.
Right.
And they can't see it, man.
Yep.
I don't know what else.
It's not just. It's not just
for Trump.
It's not just the fake media. It is their fake leaders too. Because look at how, Patrice. Look, they're burning a. I don't know if that's a police car, but they burned police cars and normal other people's cars. And that's Philly, I think. Yeah. It's ridiculous. They have no reason to complain, and they're being kissed up to. They're being kissed up to. And there's people who are taking their side as if they're innocent babies.
Oh
like
my
Trump
God!
would call them.
You guys showed Jesse showed the kids being in the news with their moms holding them, saying all Black Lives Matter.
Oh yeah, was that Walt?
Oh my God!
Yeah, that was that Philly guy Walter Wallace Jr. His children were saying, "A white racist cop shot my daddy, and black life still matters." This is cute little black kid. It's the cutest little black kid saying the stupidest female BLM mindless crap.
This poor kid have
kids.
no chance.
Yeah.
No chance at all.
That's why you gotta. That's why you gotta treat
hurts
these.
Me, man.
That's why you gotta treat these dummies like this. I am a famous YouTuber. With understanding, because they were raised like that. You know that they were raised like that. Ta-Nehisi Coates.
My whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah, my whole life. Since I lived in Philly, my whole life, the majority of my life. So my friends were black,
Right.
And to see them go, get crazy like this and not think about anybody, but these emotions and destroying things.
Walter Wallace.
I don't even know
Jr.
anybody. I don't even call anybody anymore.
Yeah.
I'm from Puerto Rico, but all my best friends. My best friend was black. He died for drug violence in Philly. That's why I left. So I really want to help, but I don't know what to do, man. They won't listen.
Yeah, I mean, you can't force people to listen. Sometimes they have to suffer and die, as Jesse Lee Peterson said. These little kids, they threw up the Black Power fist, and the mainstream media enables, just like what they do with the LGBTQ, they enable this child abuse, because that's what it is. It is corruption of the children, and they push that like crazy. Yeah, I mean, just stick. I don't know if you do Jesse Lee Peterson's silent prayer, but just stick with what's right, and you'll get the opportunities to help in the right way.
Yeah, because I shouldn't be feeling sad.
Right.
I should be doing something.
Yeah.
I understand, man.
And you don't even need to necessarily be doing something. You don't need to feel sad, and you don't necessarily need to do anything. If you don't know what to do, you don't want to do something that's rash and get yourself killed. Like, go in and, I don't know. Well, I mean, it sounds like you were smart to leave because it was so dangerous and it was out of control.
Yeah.
As
I just hope that this doesn't take the whole country, man. That's why I'm praying for Trump to win, man, because it's not Biden. Well, we all know it's Kamala Harris that's the president, but
and not even her. Like, she's a puppet too. I mean, she'll just get easily pushed around. Such a phony person. I don't think she has any beliefs of her own other than just kissing up. But you know, like there is a growing, I think, foundation, because the president, it's great to have a decent man as president. I can't even believe it. But we got to be the foundation of the country. You know, like how the church is built on, I don't know, the decent men, so should the country be.
Yeah, it's
both decent and strong.
So evil.
Yeah, it really is. It's crazy.
Even if you're trying just to talk to them, they'll get mad.
I know.
For you trying to open their eyes, man. It's so
look at
weird.
These people. We're showing a picture of Biden and Harris, and they look like so hellish with this fake flag behind them.
Man, I can't stand them. I can't like Hillary Clinton. I can't watch a video or listen to her voice because it's so evil that it's just I can't. I have
that
to
bad, huh?
Or,
how old are you? If you don't mind my asking.
38.
38? Okay.
Yeah.
But man,
finally listening to Jesse all these days. I had a car accident and I've been disabled. I can barely walk, and I've been listening a lot about Jesse's videos and silent prayer, and all these things have helped me a little.
Good. When was this?
I had 10 years ago.
Wow.
I lost my dad on a car accident. Yeah, and I've been struggling a little since then, but I finally bought my house a year ago. Since listening to Jesse, I got my head straight.
Are you able to walk?
No, I can use a cane sometimes if I'm trying not to take these medications. Yeah. But they give me some medications to help me walk. So sometimes I can use the cane if I'm taking the medication, but I'd rather not.
Yeah,
so
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But yeah.
Well, I wish you well with that. I hope you're able to recover further than what you have so far. Maybe you'll be able
Thank
to.
You.
Yeah, because once you lose all of this distraction and emotion and stuff, maybe you'll be able to, I don't know, maybe get past some of that stuff and do some serious physical therapy or something.
Yeah, they've been trying to replace my knee cartilage, but I've never had a surgery.
Oh, so good.
So they said that after certain years, they had going to have to open me again and put another new fake cartilage.
Wow.
But I'd rather not do that.
Yeah, I understand that. Is your diet right and all that? You're eating?
I'm kind of weird, man. I've never liked it. Like, I never liked eat. I always have to push myself to eat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But are you eating the right stuff when you do eat?
With food. Yeah, well, I can help my girlfriend cook and stuff, so we make our own food. We don't buy processed things or anything like that.
She's living with you?
You know. Yeah, we've been
Sinners.
She was 16 in school. Yeah. So
Are you gonna
we've
cut
been
that
together
out?
for almost the what?
The living with her?
Oh, we've been together for almost 20 years now.
Dang.
So
You guys moved
yeah,
in together.
man.
You were 18. She was 16 or something.
yeah, we were in school together, and
Man,
yeah. It
you're
was
like an
hell.
old school
It was-
Puerto Rican.
yeah, exactly.
That's wild, man. Well,
But I've been listening to Jesse and doing everything right, so I might just get that paper to
yeah,
do it right.
the marriage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you want private counseling, I don't know if you're aware, Jesse Lee Peterson does offer private counseling one-on-one through or with your girlfriend or whatever, alone or together.
Yeah.
Through Skype or
Yeah.
phone or in person, however you want to do it. So
Yeah.
it is something recommended
She's
if
kind
you're.
of
She doesn't have to be involved.
yeah, she's kind of okay,
Yeah.
because she's
Just a
kind of a
suggestion.
liberal person. And I'm the Trump guy trying to push.
I'm not
trying to
surprised.
push her back to God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
she don't
cool,
even
man.
want to vote this year.
She doesn't? That's good.
But
That's
I
good if
am.
she doesn't vote.
Even if I have to go, like a baby crawling on my knees, I'm voting.
That's cool, man.
Oh, yeah.
I respect that. Well, man, it's good to hear from you, Danny.
You too, Hake. Have a great day.
You as well. And if you want to call the bond office, it's 800-411-BOND. 800-411-2663. That's the
Got it.
That's the toll-free one. Otherwise, it's 323-782-1980. So.
Okay.
All right, Danny.
Well, thank you,
Appreciate you,
Hake.
man. Yeah, thank you. Good
Have
to
a
hear
good
from
one.
you. You too. Take care. Interesting. So let me just double check the super chats. Just came back from the future. Trump wins, says future Ben. Beta legs Ben, that is. Interesting. Appreciate that. Thank you guys for the subscriptions. Hydro PX, subscribe monthly. Dang. High Roller, appreciate that, man. Thank you to Hot Computer Smell for the support, the super chat through streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. We need to build a closet around the homosexuals and make RuPaul pay for it. Nice. Yeah, it's respect. Same thing, I think, with pot, because there's this shamelessness about pot, shamelessness about, they're even pushing shamelessness about pornography and drinking and all that stuff. It should be, people should have shame about it and hide it and not accept it as right or something to brag about. People are proud. Can you believe it? So-called proud, they're lying to themselves. I can't imagine that they're actually, well, maybe, proud to be homosexual or LGBTQIA+ or whatever. Nasty. Wiggy Dog says, commies are a virus. Maze has a response to Rick. Maze out of Dayton, Ohio. How are you doing, Maze?
I'm just fine, James.
Nice.
I don't do debates. I have conversation for people to use their brain. Rick is lost. And then you should have asked Rick, how did the girl get into the black community in the first place?
The drug?
Yes.
I don't know,
Did
but the
somebody
blacks
go-
gladly accepted it and started selling it and started taking it, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. I thought they had a hearing on why the Jews came into the community.
They say it was the liberals and
Yeah,
the
it was
CIA. I don't know.
Who was president at that time?
Freeway Rick Ross.
Yeah, who was president at the time?
I don't know. Was it Reagan or something?
Oh, I think so,
Carter?
too. No, it wasn't Carter. You know who it was.
I don't
you have
know.
amnesia when it comes to the truth about things.
But
And
I
then
mean,
Rick
who
gonna
cares?
say-
Like
I know.
Hold on, Mace. Hold on.
What?
Think about what the deep state has done under the nose of President Trump. The FBI has been the enemy of the people, including of Trump. Are you going to say, oh, President Trump is responsible for the FBI investigating that caravan when Trump is calling them out?
Well, I'm
Did
saying,
Reagan hand the
calling out
drugs
that
to the
he's
blacks?
saying what he normally
You're
eats.
just a pathetic person blaming the white man
We can
for what
sing
the
together,
black
but
men
no-
are doing wrong.
Oh, you finished now?
Yeah.
So as we say, that was it depends on who it is that y'all like what's being done. Because if Obama was in office and that happened, what would you be saying? Some off the wall craziness. And tell Rick, I don't listen to ABC, Fox. I listen to them, but I'm listening to the person that's talking, Donald J. Trump, and I'm listening to his lawyer for 10 years, his sister, and his niece. So that's where I form my opinion from.
Never listen to the woman.
And ask me about Biden. If somebody
Never
was out
listen
there
to the woman or to the rat.
And as I say, if
That
somebody
rat,
was out there,
Maze,
they wanna,
Maze, you listen. You're admitting you listen to backstabbers and
No.
females,
Well, I
malicious
guess,
females,
what do you
pro-abortion
call it, like
females. That is too.
And then when it comes
Yeah.
to the opioid epidemic, when it comes to the opioid,
Yeah.
now they wanted to give them free help. When it came to the other drugs in the black community, they wanted to put them in jail. I think both sides.
That's free help too.
Opioid,
Jail
yeah,
is
both
free,
of it.
Maze.
All of it is
Maze.
free.
Maze. Jail is free.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it is.
They
For the
should've been- they
blacks,
should've went-
for the
they
blacks
should
who
go
are
to
in
jail,
jail,
too.
they don't have to pay a cent.
They should go to jail just like
It's free
the one
room and board for the blacks. In fact,
the one
some of
on
them
the-
prefer it.
Don't you think so, James?
Yeah.
The one on opioid epidemic should they be going to jail or just
Yeah,
give them a
I
shot,
think that
wait
maybe
back
some
up?
of them should be going in jail. That would be nice.
All of them.
Many of them
they
do.
should go to jail too. So when you get
You're just a
when I
malicious,
listen to-
vengeful woman.
and this stupid stuff these people talking
Very
about
malicious, Maze.
and discussing.
Why are you
what
so
people wanna go do,
malicious?
their right to vote. If they want to go vote, leave them alone. Just let them go vote and let it be, and stop trying to put obstacles in the way. Why you got to put obstacles in people's way that want to go out and vote?
Because we need to make sure that the voting
No, you want to make
has
sure you cheat or you're scared. That's what it is.
hoping that you guys don't cheat too much, right?
Yeah,
We
but
gotta.
what I pray to God for the ones that he can't walk when all them lies he's put in together with trying to mix the truth with a lie. What kind of doctors give you medication to teach you how to walk? I think you do therapy to learn how to walk.
That's why.
So
That's why he's not taking the drugs, Maze.
He didn't say he wasn't taking the drugs. He said he never been operated.
He says
on.
he
That's
tries
what
not to
did.
take the drugs too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Some of them have a cake. Come on here,
You
lying.
need to listen.
And then y'all,
Women
like
don't
Trump,
listen.
The reason why y'all feel the way you do. And I always
I
wanna
have
talk
a
about
caller
black
who might. I don't know if he wants to talk with you, but John in California has a comment about you, and would
I
you
don't
like
care
to
about
talk with
people
him?
giving comments about me.
Would you like to talk with him?
I don't care. You know I'm not afraid.
Let me put John on the line. I don't know if he wants to talk to Maze because some of these guys they don't want to talk to her.
No,
But
they're cowards, and they always talk about they.
no. It's not cowards. It's just don't want to talk to you. They got nothing to say to you.
That's what I call them. They're cowards. They're not men.
Oh, okay.
That's
You're
what
the
he is.
arbiter.
They're cowards.
You're the
always
one who
come out.
listens to Trump's sister and niece and the rat,
No,
Michael Cohen.
And I listen to him too, and his lawyer of 10 years.
Okay. Here's.
So that's what you need to listen to, and stop letting everybody else put things in your head.
Thank you, Maze.
Look in the
Appreciate
mirror
that.
and pretend y'all black and see how well you like the other side of what you look like.
Look in the mirror and
maybe
pretend you're
you
black.
will understand yourself.
All right. Hold on, Maze. Let me bring
What's
in.
holding them up?
Let me bring in John from California. He has a comment for you. John.
What's going on, Hake?
Hey, good to hear from you. How are you?
Good. Yourself?
I'm fine, thank you. What'd you want to say about Maze?
So, I know she brought up Obama, and, if Obama would have done something so bad, everybody would have been on his ass. Sorry, his butt.
Yeah.
But there was a thing called Fast and Furious that happened under Obama's administration.
Yep.
Which was they were taking guns down to the down south of the border to Mexico, and they gave it to the Sinaloa cartel.
Yep.
But no one, even till this day, no one really talks about it.
I know.
That was a big deal because a lot of Americans were killed with those guns, and they're still finding those guns in Mexico.
That's
right now.
crazy.
And they all know that. And they,
Ask me what he got, because Fast and Furious started up on the bush. So what else you got to say? Educate yourself before you start talking.
Maze.
No,
Somebody
that
was
wasn't,
killed.
No, that wasn't under Obama.
It was-
that was under Obama. That
Yeah, it was under
not
Obama.
Bush. And trust me, I don't like Bush. I don't like Bush either. I don't
Me
like
neither.
any of them.
What did you got to ask me? Come on and ask me. And
No,
I want
You pretended.
I wasn't gonna ask you anything.
He
I
was.
didn't want to
What are you
ask you
talking
anything.
about?
His point was, Maze, that you turn a blind eye to the Democrats because you're a kiss up
How
to
did
the
I turn a
Democrats.
blind eye? How did I turn a blind eye?
Because you
Show me a
pretended
blind
that
eye.
Obama, you pretend that any criticism of Obama is insane stuff.
Did I
When
say
Obama was the
criticism?
one who's insane.
So you don't get what I
Obama is
said. I
like so
just
pro
would have
gay.
been.
Are you
What?
you support homosexuality being promoted as right, Maze?
You ain't heard me support no homosexuality.
Then how
with
come
nobody.
how come you come attacking us when we criticize Obama for being evil?
Well, just like I say, y'all
Well,
pick who y'all want to be evil. It's just like you're going to pick Barb for being evil if he don't do what y'all would like for him to do,
Who?
which is breaking the law,
Who?
and the man won't do it.
Who?
And so y'all going to hate him too. Y'all find somebody to hate every day.
Who?
Because you're stupid. I mean, you're not uneducated. That's what your problem is.
Whoa, no, you said stupid. You said what you meant.
I don't call people stupid.
No, you said it.
That sounds like you all when I say stuff like that. And I'm not trying to be like you all, like Rick.
I know, but you hate us, so you can't help it.
I don't hate anybody. That's
No,
y'all
you
problem.
do.
Y'all hate.
You hate
And then
white people.
You're trying to switch it around and make it the opposite of what's really going on.
That's
Really
what you
take a
do.
look.
No,
Really take a look at what's because you want to go down
Listen
to
to
the
John,
vote,
Mace.
you wanna-
Mace, you have to listen to John now.
This is the thing.
John ain't saying
Both,
that.
I'm saying both sides are corrupted,
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
And and when it,
But you don't. I like it.
what's that?
She said that
Well,
you don't. She said that she accused you of not acting like both sides are corrupt.
Don't you have a
Well,
left
I mean,
arm and a right
I do.
arm?
Like that's the thing. Like I think we went to war under false pretenses.
Maybe
with
so.
Afghanistan, Iraq, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. I don't trust any side of them.
Yeah.
And the only thing I'm trying to point out here is that they're all in this together. The things, if that's the thing with Trump. Everybody was against him. The media, the CIA, the FBI,
Yeah.
Democrats, Republicans. And that's why they're trying to always, they're always talking, bad about Trump.
Here you go.
There's
You just
no
waste some
positive-
people in What does that got to do with your everyday life?
We're
What do you
talking
mean, what does
about
it have to do with
politics,
my
Mace.
life?
No, you're not talking
Yeah,
about
that's what we're
politics.
talking
You're
about.
what you like about
We're not talking about
I mean,
everyday life. What is this?
You like Trump,
What, she
you vote
had
for
to switch to everyday life. Just
You wanna take guns?
just a typical woman just wants to argue.
No, I'm not arguing. I'm asking a question.
You're just trying
why
to
do you think people
undermine.
Need to take guns down to a precinct.
It killed.
I'm
You
not-
know,
what
one of
I'm
those.
saying is that they don't-
Mace,
What I'm saying is that all these people are. Oh my God! Look, this is the thing. You're not gonna listen to me. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm trying to speak to the people right here. Is that they cover up? If it's something really that's gonna affect them, they're gonna cover it up. And if something from either side, if it's something comes up from the others, like the Republicans find something on the Democrats, they're gonna talk about it. The Democrats something on the Republicans, they're talking about it. It's the things that none of them talk about that they're both in. And I think by this point, most people realize, well, both parties are, they're full of crap.
Yeah.
They're not standing up for it. Like, the Republicans are getting paid to lose. The Democrats are, they're winning no matter what.
Yeah, I know.
They're both in it, right?
That's so true.
And and people like her, they don't want to talk about the bad things Obama did.
No,
because he's
but
black.
I don't want to
And a
talk
lot
about
of
the
people-
ignorant stuff. I want to talk about what I'm learning from
She
the
wants to
people
call
that-
it ignorant stuff.
The ignorant
Well,
stuff.
okay,
Because
all
all
right, man.
ignorant. It
What
has
do you-
nothing to do with your everyday life. You always come up with these ignorant things. Just like, look yourself in the mirror. And
What
see where
ignorant
it is.
things? What? That Obama?
Like
Yeah.
you talking about
if it wasn't such a big...
I asked you about,
Okay, if it
I asked you about the
doesn't
opioid.
change...
I asked about two things: opioid and the drugs. How did they get into the black community? And I asked you about the opioid epidemic. Why they get one side get free and the other side went to jail? That's the question I asked.
Mace,
That's
whites-
everyday
Okay,
life.
all right, let's...
Whites
okay,
are
you wanna
committing
talk about
murders
how that
Give me an
is.
answer to that.
like crazy under the opioid
Well,
thing.
this is the thing. Well,
Blacks are committing murders like
drugs were
crazy.
burning. Yeah, Reagan was working, with drug. He was using all that drug money to start wars all over South America. But
There you go to my
it's
drug
not
money.
his fault.
I'm asking you a question about everyday people.
South
about
America is
everyday
not
people
everyday
what?
people.
You talked about how did they? I asked how did they get into the community. Neither one of y'all have told me yet.
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you how they got into the
Make it
community.
short. You're too
I
long.
mentioned
I
the
don't like the long-
CIA
Okay.
allegedly. We don't know.
Allegedly,
know if they're wrong
allegedly
with
the CIA was working with Rick Ross Speedway or whatever his name was.
Yeah,
and
he
was
was
the one
with
telling
Rick-
us that. But-
how did he-
Okay, but
Oh yeah.
okay, so you're
she
trying to
just-
blame it. You're trying to blame it all on the American
Exactly.
government.
Exactly. She
You're
just
trying
wants to
blame
blame it on
have
the
a
white
problem
man.
about it.
She doesn't want
I
any.
have a problem with
She doesn't want
you don't
any
wanna-
responsibility
you don't
for
wanna-
blacks.
No, you know
You
what?
don't want to suck any dick.
No, you want to go all over the.
You're the one going all over everywhere,
the
Mace.
map, and you lost. Find yourself.
I was trying to
one
respond
lost.
to her. She's not letting me respond.
I
You
know.
talking about me? You
Okay,
talking-
Mace.
I still haven't got the answer.
Shh. John's
I'm waiting
turn.
for my answer.
John's turn. You don't need an answer.
You don't have an answer.
You don't need an
Like
answer.
that. We have two situations with the same
Mace.
thing.
Mace. You have to
What?
be quiet. It's John's turn.
I'll listen. Hurry up, John. I don't like all day.
Okay.
I'm not a person.
So what I was saying is like, yeah, you can put the blame on Reagan. He was the one, having this undercover operations or whatever, CIA, whoever. But a black man was selling those drugs to other black people.
Thank you.
So how can you not talk about any of that?
Well, who gave it to them?
Somebody gave it to him. Somebody gave it to him, but he still decided to sell it to other black people.
Thank you.
You didn't answer my question. I asked you one group.
He answered it, Mace.
I asked you one
he answered
group went to jail and the other one not going to jail. They're getting them free.
Because
free help.
white. Hold on, Mace.
See, that's what
if you
I'm
be
saying.
quiet, Mace.
When I ask your question, answer it.
If you be quiet, white opioid addicts aren't the ones committing murders like blacks crack people were committing murders. Murders.
I know where you been.
Whites have been overdosing, but they haven't been committing violent crimes to their level.
All the drugs, the opiate things are going on with the white people. If anything,
y'all go everywhere.
And Mace, I'm answering the different. It's two different. Hold on. Be quiet, Mace. I'm going to put you on hold if you don't be quiet. It's two completely different situations. Society is much softer right now. They're soft on crime, so they're soft on druggies. Back then, they had to be hard on crime because murder was out of control. So, Maze, it's two completely different situations, and you're a dishonest female.
You can't answer my question, and your buddy
I just did.
Can't answer my question.
You never accept the truth, Maze. Thank you, Maze.
Now, can I explain it to y'all?
No, thank you. Have a good day.
Answer my question.
Have a good day, Maze. Have a good day, Maze. Have a good day, Maze.
Bye, Maze.
Life with people.
Bye.
Not all this
You have a good day.
All this crazy mess. Yeah, have a good one.
Thank you. Thank you for calling in with a little bit of sanity, John. I wasn't aware of that Reagan stuff. How do you know about that stuff? How old are you?
Well, I think I'm 28. I mean, I think Joe Rogan had that guy Rick Freeway, whatever, the guy selling that crack on his podcast.
Wow.
There's a lot of documentaries there. There's a lot of documentaries about that. You know, he was doing, so the government wasn't giving Reagan money for for his, the war he was throwing down. He was trying to overthrow governments, right? America is known for that. So he wasn't getting any money from Congress. So what he did was, push the drug money, and and that's how they were doing all the guerrilla warfare stuff in South America, using all that drug money.
Interesting. I didn't know about that stuff. Crazy.
But yeah, it doesn't really matter. Like she was.
I know.
All what she was trying to do was trying to blame white people again.
I know. It's personal responsibility is lost on liberal females like Maze.
Dude, okay, hey, if I go up to you and I say, okay, I want you to sell all this cocaine to the white man. That's gonna be part of my fault. But then, then your fault comes in if you say yes.
Right. I know.
Right.
Completely. It's
and
responsibility.
She was trying to bring opioids in. Well, yeah, like this. People don't really care about white people overdosing and dying of drugs. They don't care. No one's really looking into it. And if anything, if they're committing, they're killing people, they're killing themselves.
Right.
They're not killing anybody else.
Yep.
They're committing suicide. They're overdosing. They're having a horrible time. But no one really cares because they're white.
Right. It's true. I appreciate it, John. It's good to hear from you, man.
All right, man. I'll give you another call some other day.
All right. Sounds good. Take care.
Have a good one.
You too. Sean Connery, the actor, died at age 90. He was I guess he was the first James Bond, which, honestly, if we're honest, weren't the James Bond movies kind of degenerate? It's about, like, secret agent people. But here's Sean Connery. And that was 12 years ago, 2008, some festival he was there. This is what I picture when I picture Sean Connery, but he had hair when he played James Bond. I saw, like, one of those movies. I didn't realize that he was the first James Bond. But this is a good follow-up to Maze. There's this interesting clip that came out. It was shared by a Huffington Post so-called journalist, a liberal. I think he might be a Muslim, who was like, Sean Connery was 57 when he had this interview with Barbara Walters. We're opening the treasure chest, guys. And so I just thought that I would share this little piece of little
An interview in which you said,
hold on.
Not the worst thing.
What the heck? Joel pushing a button and acting like he didn't do anything. So Sean Connery died at age 90. Barbara Walters is a woman who was on The View for a few years or several years until 2014. She's 91 now, still alive, but barely breathing. And here is Sean Connery talking about when it might be appropriate to do a little slap. And this has been a hot topic. I remember there was this black Muslim not young, but woman who wrote this book about understanding the black man or something like that, or black woman, something like that. A Black Man's Guide to a Black Woman, something like that, understanding a black woman. And she advocates for it too, an open-handed slap. As opposed to like a closed fist, she went on like that. And all of this rape and murder and beatings and stuff like that. No, just a slap, put her back in line. And apparently, Sean Connery, who I think, what is he, Scottish? Or, yeah, he's Scottish. So he has that nice Scottish accent. Is defending a slap of a woman. Not saying it's good, but not saying it's that bad. Depends on the circumstances. Here is Sean Connery versus the evil feminist Barbara Walters.
You did an interview in which you said, it's not the worst thing to slap a woman now and then. As I remember, you said you don't do it with a clenched fist. It's better to do it with an open hand. Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I didn't love that.
I haven't changed my opinion.
You haven't?
No, not at all.
You think it's good to slap a woman?
No, I don't think it's good.
You don't think it's bad?
I don't think it's that bad. I think that it depends entirely on the circumstances and if it merits it. Yeah.
What would merit it?
Well, if you have tried everything else, and women are pretty good at this, they can't leave it alone. They don't want to have the last word, and you give them the last word, but they're not happy with the last word. They want to say it again and get into a really provocative situation. Then I think it's absolutely right.
That's Sean Connery, man. Rest in peace. How can you disagree? And that is so in the common experience, even women agree with this, of dealing with women. That sometimes they're just unreasonable. I've been slapped. Most women are more violent than men. It's just that men are more effective at it, are stronger, can do more damage, not afraid of guns. But most of the time, those men who commit the crimes are raised by females, angry, violent females, by the way. And Hydro PX says, they aren't women, they're degenerates. And so he said, it sounds like he's not, and they try to say, oh, he's for domestic violence. There's a huge difference between a slap and like so-called domestic violence, which is a liberal word. It's just like when President Trump was way back in 2005 on that hot mic. He said it in private, talking with Billy Bush. Now he's just a kiss up in the Access Hollywood tape, talking about, that locker room talk stuff. And he's just talking dirty stuff, sexual stuff about women. And they let you do it with them. I just walk up and start kissing them and grab them, blah, blah, blah. Or blah, 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 to have the right number of syllables. And they equate that to, why did you admit openly to sexual assault? Said the openly, brazenly, shamelessly evil and liberal and perverse Anderson Cooper in one of the debates, moderating one of the debates of President, then candidate real Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton. You admitted to sexual assault. That's not sexual assault. They just put these fake words, they're liberal words, on something that's either locker room talk and, it's inappropriate, but they're behind closed doors. That's how guys talk to one another. And women talk every bit as dirty nowadays. Worse. Because they haven't been shamed. And women are very violent. men sometimes. And by the way, all of these immigrant cultures that these Democrats are bringing in, they're chock full of men who do worse than just a single slap. They slap their women around sometimes. And these are liberals. These are socialist Bernie supporters. Anderson wouldn't know what real men talk about. But they call everything, sexual assault or domestic violence. Just these liberal, intellectual, fake words to dramatize something that's an honest disagreement between a man and a woman, or just a harmless, inappropriate talk, right? Locker room talk. Reminds me of that situation where Paul Ing, I don't know how to pronounce your name, Paul. Call me. Gets accused of disorderly conduct for having a little confrontation, not even physical, with a black dude, a couple of black guys, presumably. I don't know if that guy's sidekick on the very famous YouTuber, Andre Abram, versus Paul Ing. It's just an honest disagreement, but these dumb liberals in the government want to call that disturbing. What is it? They call it disorderly conduct. It's ridiculous. It's shameful. Anyway, guys, I'm way over. This has been the Hake Report, thehakereport.com/show for my stuff. Or you can click on the Hake News section to check out the news. JesseLeePeterson.com for Jesse's stuff. Thank you, guys. And maybe tomorrow morning, we'll play this little interview of Donald Trump from 1980 when he was 34. It's pretty interesting with this woman named Rona Barrett. I got it off of the Reelin' in the Years Archives YouTube channel. I recommend checking it out if you're interested. It's kind of interesting. He talks the same way as he does to this day. Only he looks like my age or younger. Crazy. Anyway, guys, thanks and take care. Sure. Hey, guys, I forgot to read the super chats. Arizona lineman says, hey, Keyblat. Dark Side of the Bear, what? Says, jail saved people's lives, especially opiate addicts. Look in the mirror and pretend you're slow with blackface. And Fundamental Bear with a diamond says, awesome stream today, Hake. See everyone tomorrow. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Take care.